YouTuber Twomad's accidental cause of death was revealed 6 months after his death. So was it really accidental?
It's probably just some shit that I didn't even say anything about. Only I remember. I'm like asking you a question you can't possibly answer. It's like why your dad left. Yeah. It's the question you cannot answer ever. Why did I kill my... No, don't say that. Say it! Say it! Stop the internal conflict and say it! Sorry, I don't mean to yell. I don't even remember it, really. I really don't. I don't remember this, because I'm on ketamine all the time. Right now, too. Not now, later.
Twomad found himself in a big controversy where an ex-user named Goldie Bell accused the YouTuber of groping her and stalking her with over 6 burner numbers. I'm unblocking you for this. You know exactly what you did. You were groping me as I was crying trying to leave your house, then stalked me for months afterward. I genuinely hate you more than anyone on this planet. You ruined my life. You pressured me into things I clearly never wanted to do. When I said, does it matter if I don't want to? You said no. You even told XQC and his girlfriend about it that day, while laughing because you thought it was funny. You are cruel. To which Twomad replied, never sexually assaulted nobody in my life. On February 8, the 23-year-old shared a photo of his gun without context. Jemski started saying that the Twomad had repeatedly attempted to murder him and accusing him of being a rapist and a pedophile. Jemski took to X to share his experience writing, I can finally say it, Twomad was a rapist and a pedophile. Over the past few years he tried to murder me multiple times for helping the police and detectives in multiple states to investigate a lot of horrible things he's done. He wanted to take out multiple innocent lives by getting behind a wheel and going head on freeway while being high on illegal drugs. He didn't succeed once as he overdosed before killing anybody, so he tried it again. Despite him trying to murder me and multiple innocent lives, I've been trying to help law enforcement to make sure he's safe, doesn't get hurt and doesn't harm anybody. Please remember that he's a and a pedophile. He continued to prey on the vulnerable even after the police got involved, including a 13-year-old in mental hospital. The tragedy doesn't excuse any of his actions. I will address a lot of stuff when I fully collect my thoughts. Past few months have been a total mess and reason why I ended up in ER. Please give me time. Jemski wasn't the sole individual to come forward with accusations against Twomad. Content creator Rubber Russ, also shared James' post and affirmed that he had witnessed the threats directed at James. He wrote, this is a lot. But yeah, I witnessed firsthand Twomad's threats on James' life during TwitchCon. He couldn't even go home because he knew his address and was en route to Vegas after threats. He had to use our hotel room to hide out while waiting for law enforcement. Twitch streamer Zestella also voiced her concerns against Sadiq. According to her post on X, she alleged that Sadiq had harassed her for months, sending her inappropriate and threatening messages. Twomad harassed me for months on my socials and spammed me with dozens of messages saying how obsessed he was and how much he needed to sexually assault me. Sometimes he'd add with a minor or shit like, I don't regret what I did. Quite deranged. But here's where it gets even darker. Jemski decided to release a Google Doc involving everything Twomad was involved in, including private and public references of him using and being in possession of illegal firearms, as well as references of him trying to dispose of his guns.
Did you ever at any point like actually show her a real firearm or not?
No.
Did you have them?
Okay.
Perhaps.
Were they yours or like someone else's?
No, there's somebody else's.
Okay. Alright.
He added that one of the biggest concerns was that Twomad would take lethal doses of his drugs and go out of his way to specific locations in person as he wouldn't be thinking straight. But we all know high words are sober thoughts.
That I'm still like madly infatuated with this bitch.
Why?
Because it's like I touched her that one time and then she sued me. And that's why I must get my ultimate revenge.
On Christmas Eve, he openly addressed how there are people he wants to kill but are so far away.
If you have like any like deep like you hate somebody feelings and you wanna kill them, you might kill them on Xanax. Like it's
yeah, but they're so far away. It's impossible. Like how would I get there?
It gets weirder when Twomad admitted to being unable to remember some of the crimes he did.
When you basically like pointed the BB at her, was that like you were on ketamine type of thing?
Yeah, I may have been on ketamine that day. I think I was, but yeah.
In early December of 2023, Twomad reached out to the victim's mutual acquaintances, offering large sums of money in exchange for her work address. As a result, the victim had to quit out of fear for her and her co-workers' safety.
Whatever the you should do that. We need to figure out where it works is the answer to the question.
I don't think it's why you did what when how you should just have any connection with them. So you've dropped you've dropped the harassment idea.
Oh, I'm gonna kill this. Are you stupid? No, I mean I don't mean to say stupid. What?
Come on, man. Just let her go.
What do you mean? Come on! I understand that you're in the end game of life when you've just begun, and you don't have any anger towards anyone ever. But like you have to understand, I'm not fucking married like you.
Now deleted tweet from approximately 3 hours time frame within the shown clips. Twomad had found the home addresses of several victims, as well as the family address of one of his victims. He'd make threats about it and would send packages to the family house mentioned above. He'd dox one of his victims on numerous occasions on Twitter. In addition, he wouldn't stop posting her full name, photos, work store name, and school location. And the following is a threat directed to Jamesky. I will take you down with me, do everything I can to get back up before you do, and I'll do everything I can to shape up so karma never catches me, the ultimate revenge. Also, what's with people who are vulnerable to masses hating them? With the one guy who has a chip on his shoulder to really trying to do some damage to you with zero remorse, in the most creative way possible. I am not an easy opponent, why would you with someone like me and expect it to not backfire publicly? At TwitchCon, everything went down. There was a rapid police response, and I was told that my house was unsafe. As a result, we were forced to avoid the home area, and my friends who stayed with me at the time had to look for different places to spend the night. None of us could go home. Police sent extra patrol to my house, and in the following days, the convention center was surrounded by idling police SUVs. According to Jamesky, Twomad had committed numerous sexual assaults, including intercourse. The government handled the visual evidence for SA in a separate criminal case. The civil restraining order only included the information necessary to protect the victim, not to prosecute Twomad. There were no lawsuits at any point. Twomad and his friends fabricated a lie to slander the names of people he's hurt. At no point during the 6-month period had Twomad been able to provide any evidence to support his made-up claims. On the September hearing date, Twomad realized he would see his victims in person. He panicked and decided to hide in the courthouse's cafeteria on a different floor instead of showing up in the courtroom itself. While the hearing was supposed to take place, as everyone else was present, he was clowning on the court and the judge, trying to make a circus out of the situation. Once again, he did all that while hiding away, as he was too afraid to look into the eyes of the people he had done irreparable damage to. He knew that if I couldn't afford to pay, I would not be able to shelter his victims in person away from him, and he would be able to create a different narrative to try and avoid the consequences in the public eye. Throughout my experience with Twomad, his actions cost me over 6 figures in damages over the span of 5 years. For this case alone, due to him purposely making it complicated for everyone else, I had to sell my car so that I could afford to protect all his victims to begin with. During the time between this hearing and December, he continued to make the victims and witnesses' lives a living hell, including mine. He constantly violated the restraining orders against them in different malicious ways, which led us to bring up the issue to the court. The victim testified to the court and addressed the sexual assaults, including but not limited to coercion via intimidation. In the testimony, mentions of brandishing firearms, violent threats towards herself and witnesses, as well as targeted threats towards her family involving Twomad sending up secure packages to her family's home were brought up. Twomad's history of swatting was introduced, and the definition of swatting and doxing was provided. Twomad attempted to make the same false claims he had made online against the victim in court, which were immediately shut down by the judge. He had to be reminded he was under oath, and afterwards he did not deny any of the claims brought against him. He provided no evidence to the court to refute her claims, despite having months to do so. as he realized that the investigation already knew what was happening. The investigation and legal always knew that Twomad's evidence that included messages, photos and audio were fake. There was a stack of paper thicker than a book that would describe how and what kind of artificial evidence he had created, including him creating fake chains of text message conversations with his victims. Twomad had repeatedly admitted to the SA in public, via social media and live streams. After witnessing all that, with proof, is his death really accidental, or was it a result of his fear, realizing what the rest of his life would look like with us knowing what we know? Therefore, I would like to invite you all to sit at our cafe, watch this video again, and think about this objectively. Was it really accidental? For now, stay tuned.